You know, you've got Odegaard indirectly, you've got Saka. Jesus will probably pull out to the left, but can pull out to the right. You've got Benjamin White. I think on the left-hand side, it can be a bit unpredictable in that you know what Zinchenko does, you know what Martinelli does, but, you know, we'll get on to him. But Mr. Kai Havertz in that 8 role, whether it's up, we know he played on the as a 9 against City, but in the 8 role, I don't think he's grabbed that. I don't know if Arteta will go with a Jorginho again. I don't know if Fabio Vieira will get a look in. I don't know if he'll go with what I want to see of Rice, Partey and Odegaard. So it'd be an interesting one, but I think we're personally a bit stronger on the right-hand side. I know the goal ultimately came from Martinelli, and against the City game, Martinelli coming on kind of changed the trajectory of the game for us with all the other subs. So I think that is quite interesting, if I'm completely honest with you. What do you make of Kai Havertz in an Arsenal shirt? Because it is the Kai Havertz derby. Me personally, you know, we're at in it. He will have my support as long as you're an Arsenal player. It does feel like a bit of karma because, as you know, he was a player that whenever me and you were bantering, first to call him dry, shy, all of these sort of things. I can't see it in it. Like I can't see it. He's one of those weird ones where you've got ability, you're a decent player. I do think you're scapegoated, but I can't see it. I can't see it right now. The left-sided 8 role. I know you've performed as a false 9, but at the end of the day, as you would have known, seeing him for a year as a false 9. The end of the day, you got to finish your dinner in it. Like I hear it, physical play, hold up play, link up play, lovely assist against City. But whether you're a false 9, a target man, a poacher, the ball's got to be in the back of the net. And I just feel with Kai Havertz now, even though I'm not advocating scapegoating him, but you're like what 25, 24, you know, coming into Arsenal's team, you're a big dog. You're basically Thiago Silva in terms of experience, really. You know, you're of the level, in my opinion, of Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, to a degree, Odegaard at the point of you walking in. You've been that young G that needs to inspire the youngest sort of thing. So what have you made of Kai Havertz? Is it a thing where it's the same man in a different shirt?
Yeah, it is, bro. Unfortunately, I'd love to be able to sprinkle some extra confetti on it, but there is no difference. Like, it's another player. I was a big Kai Havertz supporter when he came in. He was probably my favorite signing in terms of the attackers. I didn't want Ziyech. I wasn't 100% sold on Werner because of the style of his play and the way that he scored his goals in Germany as comparison to what we face in the low blocks. And then the lack of physicality as well, which was the difference between him and Lukaku. Even though Lukaku was a counter-attacking striker, Lukaku had the physicality, he could win the headers and the crosses come in, etc. Werner was just weak, and he said it himself, like he couldn't handle it. Kai Havertz was the one
you lot allowed him, because he just come out and said the pressure and all these things. He just done the victim thing. You lot like, we'll allow him.
It's very hard to go up against somebody who's already told you they can't hack it. Like, yeah,
like you just want to allow him. Like, you don't want to come across as a bully.
Him and Lukaku is the complete difference in terms of personality. Like, you know what I mean? So, and one was double the money and double the wages. But in terms of Kai, I actually thought Kai was gonna bang. Like, I looked at Kai at Leverkusen. I thought, yeah, this guy is balling out. It's not a high line thing. It's all about his technical ability and his ability to pass and clip the ball into these channels. And you know, I just thought he's a technical player. And he's wanted by Madrid, and you know, it's not just us, and we all see it. So when he comes in, bro, and it's like, what annoyed me more about Havertz was not necessarily his performances, it's mentally. It never seemed to click for him that he was not playing well enough. Like, at least it didn't come off that way. It always felt like Kai Havertz was just going to play in his own way, his own time, and that was it. There was like, it's Kai Havertz's time, or it's nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, where's your kind of like kind of get up and go attitude of like urgency, like move, bro. Like, you are a bona fide flop at this current moment. Forget the Champions League goal, because when people talk about that, they say, oh, he's won us the Champions League. I don't believe in that. I believe in the team. It was very much a team performance.
Ultimately, it's a team game. There's 11 players out there. He's the poster boy, but I'm sure there was some clearances and whatnot in that final that the game 100%. Don't go the way it's supposed to go if they don't do that.
If he was Ronaldo for Real Madrid, fair enough. You won us the Champions League, but you wasn't, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need to remember that Rudiger blocked Foden's shot. You need to remember that we had the best defensive record
you have it.
in the knockouts in Champions League history with Thiago Silva, with Christensen, with Rudiger. The guys that saved us multiple times and allowed for people like Kai Havertz, like Pulisic, to miss chances repeatedly, knockout game after knockout game. They missed so many chances against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. We should have easily been, they should have cost us, really. But because the defense stood strong and kept these clean sheets and stopped these goals from going in, and were just on record one of the best defenses in Champions League knockout history. On record, forget individuals. These guys were allowed to get their goal, and
especially Thiago Silva, man. And
yeah.
as much as I don't want Chelsea to win Champions League, I was happy for him because obviously, you know, I'm biased to Brazilians, and I just like the way Thiago handles himself. And obviously, for him and Tommy Tuchel, they bounced back for the disappointment at that point against PSG, and they were both kind of harshly done by, really more so Tuchel when that happened.
Yeah, these guys were. Yeah, 100%. These guys were allowed to miss. I mean, Kante was just ridiculous, bro. He picked up
as well.
You know, people talk about people. If you want to talk about who won us the Champions League, you better off saying Kante before say Kai Havertz. Do you know what I mean? That guy picked up like 4 man matches in a row. So yeah, there's a lot of lack of clarity on that one. But he played his part. He contributed, which is why I'll never have heat for him. Like I want him to leave. So I am happy for the money. I'm happy for his exit. I'm happy to have him off the books. I'm happy to have Cole Palmer in instead. Like I don't wish he stayed. I don't have any kind of like ill will or anything towards him because I'm happy. So I think for me, he's just what he was before, which is just a player that is unfortunately very underwhelming, has a lot of talent to unlock, but doesn't have any outstanding attribute. No one can say he's a brilliant passer. No one can say he's a brilliant dribbler, a brilliant shooter, even a brilliant header of the ball for how tall he is. You know, he doesn't have a crosser, nothing, bro. Nothing stands out.
Half decent movement, but it's like it kind of goes back to what you said about wanting the ball and wanting it. And I do feel a bit sorry for Kai Havertz. I think his languid movement and the fact that in the Prem he's not like a Gallagher, for example, or Roy Keane. He's not going to fly into tackles. That's a somewhat angle to target him. But he's one of these guys that can do a bit of everything. But like, what are you like? As someone that watched him, like, what is his best position? Because at Arsenal, it seems Arteta is fixated on making you a left-sided 8. I say that maybe it's just a City thing, but he's played as a false 9 against City and it's worked all right. I'm not really convinced on consistently playing as a false 9. I'm not currently convinced on you cutting the mustard as a left-sided 8. The luxury I'll give you is like what you said with the managers is that they know more than football than me. I'm hopeful there's an upturn in performances, but at the end of the day, bro, there's got to be questions, and it looks like 65 million could have been better spent elsewhere. So what's the best position then?
Like? It definitely could have been spent better elsewhere. You look at Szoboszlai, 100%, Madison, bro. Like,
even the youth that can't even stay fit for you, like Lavia, that could have been Partey's little bro or something like that. Even Kovacic really a Julie, like City are the only ones, even though Kovacic ain't done much out of the 3 boys that went Arsenal, City, and United. I always say I like Kovacic. I would have done with the Kovacic thing, but the only luxury with Havertz is Arteta, you know more about football than me. You have shown me that you can make mistakes, but I trust you because I like you as a manager. When we signed Timber, I was like, cool, I'm with that 100% with my old mind. Rice, I'm with that. Raya, I'm with that. Kai Havertz, it's like, are you sure about this, big bro? We're in the Champions League. We're trying to get closer to City. I see how the other 3 in their own ways gets us closer to City. Kai Havertz, I don't know, because I'll be honest, at Arteta, it looks like Captain Save-A-Hole. It worked with Odegaard. So, so Bios won an FA Cup. It kind of worked to a degree with Granit Xhaka. It don't mean you're Jesus and everything can happen, really. So Kai Havertz, it looks a bit shaky. And it's like, I have to ask you again, like, what's on his best position? Like,
well, for me, his best position, I said it when he signed, was Odegaard's position. And you're not better than Odegaard. So you can't play there. It's not possible. That's the captain. He's proven. He's put up the stats from last year in terms of, one of the best goal scoring midfielder seasons ever on record, especially with no penalties. You are not touching that position. So then when I see Arsenal fans online saying, oh, but we figured it out. He's a false 9. You are going through the very same.
Yeah. You might have had these conversations. Yeah, that's why I don't participate. Like,
you're going through the very same trauma that we went through. Oh, he's a striker. No. Wait. He's a second striker. No, he's a 10. No, guys, he's an 8 off the right half space. No, he's a winger. No, actually, if you just play him in this is where it starts to get techie. And Arsenal fans, they don't even realize that they're in it. Some of them, but some of them don't even realize yet that they're doing it. But they'll start to clock it soon. Right now, it's early days. It's hope. I get it. I've had it with every signing I give a year. So I'm not blaming Arsenal fans. The only thing I will say is this guy's been kicking ball in the Premier League for 3 years, up close.
This is where that's where it kind of runs out, bro.
if he was coming straight from Bayer Leverkusen, cool, go to the comps, enjoy those comps, take those comps in. It's acclimatizing to the league, it's adapting, it's getting used to England, it's all these things. But he's not doing that. He's been in London, bro. He's hasn't even moved house. This guy has been in the city.
This is it. You probably got an extra half an hour extended on your commute in the day.
Exactly, bro.
Just got a new Puma deal as well, so you better get some scoring.
If there's some traffic on the North Circular, this is all you've had to adapt to. That's it, bro. You are literally at home. You've been here for 3 years. You know the league. There's no excuse. So the only thing is getting used to the system. But he's not playing where those Bayer Leverkusen comps have articulated that he will be. Everybody's looking at the Leverkusen comps saying, this is what we're getting. He plays in the right half space over there a lot of the time. Now, the reason why I'm not buying this striker hype is because A, he was playing striker for us. He didn't take his chances. He missed the most big chances last season. He's not clinical. C, why do you spend £65 million on a striker that is playing false nine the same way Jesus does, but doesn't do anything as good as Jesus? Doesn't dribble, doesn't hold up, doesn't finish.
The only consistency is they both can't really, they're not really clinical. Yeah. But again, Jesus will get you 11 goals regardless of that. I don't know for Havertz.
Yeah, exactly. So why would you sign a striker that's gonna play the striker role the same type of way as Jesus, but worse? When really the only thing to do was to get an alternative to Jesus who bangs in goals and goes the other way. Havertz doesn't do that. So even that doesn't make sense. So now you've got a £65 million player. That's best position, in my opinion, is Odegaard's, because that's where he can shift onto his left foot, open up his body, play those passes that we saw at Leverkusen, make those little reverse balls, take those shots for Germany on the edge of the D, cutting in where
Germany looks
this is people are trying to pretend like as if they don't know this information. For Germany, this is where he scored those goals in the top corner, cutting in left foot, stick it in top corner from the edge of the area, cutting in on the left foot. How is he going to cut in on his left foot, playing on the left half space? Please, somebody tell me how. It's just not going to happen. So he's never played over there. 65 million to replace Xhaka and play in this position when there was the Szoboszlais, the Madisons, even Smith Rowe. I've been saying, where is Smith Rowe?
You have to talk to
in that position. He's better, bro. In that, I don't know what's happening. If it's
Naby even took his spot for a second as well.
I don't know if it's the fitness and. So before I go off on a tangent, that I don't understand what's going on with Smith Rowe, because I think Smith Rowe is way better in the left half space than Havertz. The last point I'll make is up here. This is where Havertz, for me, is also not good enough. Like when he was in poor form for Chelsea, instead of publicly taking it in and being like, yeah, I'm not playing very well, this guy, as soon as he got his one shameless goal, was shushing the fans. I was like, who are you shushing, bro? And I was like, who are you shushing, bro? You're meant to be this, like, we're building the team around you almost.
Arguably Golden Boy. You were seeing, you drew Mesut Ozil comparisons, which I definitely don't agree with, and they're still there within Arsenal fan base. The only thing I can see is that they don't smile. He cannot talk to Mesut Ozil in terms of footballing IQ, intelligence, maybe slightly, in fact, not even movement. I do like Havertz movement, but you can't talk to Ozil about movement. I'm tweaking. There's nothing you can say.
I was just watching Ozil from Mourinho's Real Madrid with Kaká and Ronaldo.
This is it, yeah. You're not talking to him.
You're not even going to be able to.
You're both left-footed. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. You're not even sitting in the same restaurant, forget the same table. And then it's like the last thing is so the mental side. I'm not really. He's a confidence player. I don't think you can be a confidence player and play like the way he's playing, because on the next thing on top of that as well is. The way he plays is nonchalant. You need to be a baller to play like that. I'm sorry. If you're going to play like that, you need to be Ozil. If you're going to play at your own tempo and
the Berbatov, the Ozils, them kind of brothers there.
That's the guys, bro. Yes, that's the guys. You have to be one of those guys. If you're not going to be one of those guys, then I'm sorry. You better run. You better get stuck in and get winning them duels and winning them challenges and be in that midfield free and work your ass off. And if you are going to be that kind of player, then I'm sorry, you could have bought a player like that for 20, 25 mil, not 65. So there is no way out for this guy but to absolutely shell out. And I mean ball out like Odegaard levels. If he doesn't do that, he's a flop. And for me, I don't think he will be able to do that because he doesn't have the mentality that Odegaard has. He doesn't have the ability that Odegaard has currently. And he's playing in the wrong position because that position that he needs to play in Odegaard's position to even stand a chance for me.
There, you said it there. I think in general, Odegaard can play where Havertz plays. Like, disregarding Havertz as a thing for a sec, I've been very passionate about Odegaard potentially moving back. I think you'd rob him of definitely the goals he's been scoring and stuff. But I think our team would get better tempo and impetus, and it would be not quite Santi Cazorla towards the end of his Arsenal career, but I think you'd get that from Odegaard in that role. But then again, there's a lot of moving parts. Arteta has shown that he will tweak the system and do things. Is Kai Havertz, at the end of the day, he spent 65 million on the man. He's probably on a 4 or 5 year deal. So you probably have to try it at one point. But would I advocate moving Kai Havertz in the 10 and moving Odegaard around, and at the detriment of whatever Arteta did, what I can see Arteta demands of the system, and crucially, what I don't know, them inner fine workings, I don't think quite such. I think right now he looks like an impact player as a sub. I mean, Chelsea could be the perfect platform to quote unquote prove yourself to Arsenal fans and prove Chelsea fans wrong. But even if you got a brace or a hat trick in a game like that, I don't feel, you're gonna shut everybody up. I think you made a great point about his languid movement. For me, it's a thing where I think we're in a dangerous scenario with Havertz, in that I think when when we talk about watching games again, defensive metrics and all of these things, and we overdo it, I think players in central midfield should be doing that anyways. That's the only real thing I have appreciation for Havertz. He will make tactical fouls. He does put muck in, but that only goes to a certain point. I don't want to have to keep watching games again to speak about him. And to be honest with Kai Havertz, as much as I love what Mikel Arteta is doing, I need to place blame at the feet of Mikel Arteta. You know more about football than me. You've shown that with bringing in Xhaka and certain other things. So I'm prepared to trust in you, even if I don't necessarily trust it. But as you said, you spent 65 odd million pounds. I can't see how Havertz ultimately makes our team better. Obviously, what doesn't help Havertz's case is the void that Xhaka's left. Just as a man, Xhaka would always face up to the music. And obviously Xhaka's last season, he became somewhat of a goal scoring midfielder. So it'd be an interesting one, really and truly.